hit it with the hairspray. Oh look, getting some nice green coming through now where it's got wet. Hey guys, it's Jamie here. So I have another leaflet and a load of scraps, which must mean masterboard time. I'm deliberately going to run the masterboard this way because I want to do some tags and only tags from the masterboard. Let's start with getting our layer of glue down. I'm using Mod Podge. You can use any glue. You can water down some white glue. You can use glue stick. Doesn't really matter what you use. So we're sticking down our background. Now for background, I have some old book page and I will be alternating this. So I am putting a tiny amount of thought into what's going where. Not a huge amount. Right, a little bit over the top. Reason we do that is to make sure it goes down and also to seal the paper. So we will be doing some mixed media work on top of this. So we want to make sure the paper doesn't absorb any paint or any treatments we do afterwards. Now I also have very old looking bits of paper going in a slightly different direction, and I have some matte pieces, so fairly neutral. Things are going down, starting to build up the overlapping. We have a scene, some music score. You can see I've got some big bits this time. I don't normally do large placement pieces. Once all the background is down, a top layer of the Mod Podge has gone over and dried. It's time for the next stage, which I'm going to do really quickly using some Distress Ink vintage photo on one of these dibby dobber dabber things. I don't even know what they're officially called. And where we've got very white paper, I don't want that colour. So I'm going to take the vintage photo, stain along it. It doesn't matter if it hits the edges of other pieces, that just adds more interest. That's much darker, so maybe I will hit it with some water on that one. While it's still damp, lift some excess up. And then I think what I would like to do is spray the whole lot with water. I'm rubbing over what's left on the sponge over everything. You can see how that's toning everything together now. As Distress Ink reacts with water, I'm hoping it will get a bit of a reaction, a bit of a run. If you can see that running off at the bottom there. I'm going to let this bit dry. This is now dry and I've got some black coffee here and I'm going to spray the black coffee over. I think it's not really dark enough, so I'm going to try dripping it over. I wanted some little splodges. I tend to put a lot of work into the background, and when you see, if you've not seen what I do, how much I cover up the work that I've put in, you'll wonder why. It's just part of the process to get casual with your masterboard, so you stop seeking perfection and you let go a little. So the more you mess about with it and the more you use different techniques, the more you let go. When you get to a stage that you're happy with your coffee flicks, I'm not there yet, you're going to let it dry flat. You're not going to chase it with hot air guns because you want them to stain in the puddles. So it may take a little while. Okay, we will call that a day. The next thing I want to do, because I want, even though it's Victorian, a modern industrial grungy look, is I want to highlight where these straight lines are. I'm taking this, which is a watercolour crayon, and working this through those straight lines those joins. Not overly keen on that colour. Running this along the lines and then rubbing it to create squares. What I'm going to do is I'm going to soften it a little bit with a little tiny bit of water and just go over those lines very gently. What I want to do is some mark making, which is kind of fun because we don't really know what's going to happen. We're going to use some everyday material like bubble wrap and some white gesso. Pop it on. Oh, wow. Wow, that is really good bubble wrap. Okay, we're just going to try and get, because it is pretty much everywhere, a little bit on here. That obviously needs to dry now, and I might need to clean my desk. Because everything on here reacts to liquid or water, before we go any further, we're going to put a protective layer of Mod Podge over the top, which will seal in any current work that's on here. I want to try one thing, and if that doesn't work, we'll do something else. I want to see if I can get this to have like ring marks on it from a coffee cup. Now this isn't very dark, so it might be that I haven't got a dark enough coffee here. Oh, it kind of works, doesn't it? Might be worth looking at my acrylics if that isn't really showing. It doesn't show enough, because you've got to imagine when this is cut up, it shows at the moment, but when it's cut up it won't show. I found some raw umber. Now just need to find a paintbrush. What I'm going to do is, rather than mix it with water, I'm just going to mix it with the black coffee. You don't have to mix acrylic down, you can have it quite thick. If you mix it down, you're making more like a watercolour. If you mix it with a gel medium, you're making it more like an oil paint. Let's try that. Now I think that is more the effect. Look at that. Brilliant. Something else I will probably do is try to do some splatters. So you can see that's taking something off the white now. I think we're getting there. I'm still not done yet. What I'm going to do now is spray the whole lot with coffee, but I am actually going to dry it with the air dryer because I want to chase the coffee around and create the streaking. I'm going to cover the whole paper, toning down this white a bit. It has been protected layer wise. I sprayed some hairspray over because I didn't want to move the paint. I should have demonstrated that, I just forgot. There's quite a bit of coffee on here now. We're going to put this on and chase it. That has been chased and has dried. With the hairspray, going to lightly cover the whole surface to seal it. I've had a little think about what I would like to do next, and it will, to save money, I'm actually going to cheat it a little bit. I am going to just get some of these old music sheets, and this is a metallic acrylic and it's bronze. I am painting over the sheets. Here I have Rusty Hinge Distress ink, which I'm going to rub onto here. Sort of an orangey brown colour, probably very similar to this, but we will see. Spray it and activate it with some water, and then dip these into that. Let's just see what happens. While I'm here, I have got this piece of napkin that I've been using to clear stuff up, so I'm going to clear that up with the napkin. Because I think this will be very useful at some point in the future. It's getting a beautiful mix of colours on it. That hasn't had as big an effect as I would have liked. So I'm going to take the Salvage Patina, again a Distress Oxide ink, rub this onto here and activate it this way and see what happens. Okay, it's not fully dry, but it's still not really doing what I want it to do. So I'm going to try just doing a big block on here and without wetting anything, because it's not fully dry, try just throwing it over, and that is getting more of the effect that I was looking for. You see these spots here that are now really showing up. So only slightly damp paper then, not too much water, plenty of ink. Let's see if we can get those beautiful spots of blue on here. And I think before it dries again, I am going to do the same with the rusty hinge and see if that helps. Although it just turns everything green, we will see. Move it up here. Don't know that's really made much of a difference. Probably a bit damper would help, but I don't want it too damp, so I'm going to spray from a distance and hardly anything. Give it a little waft dry as well. Yeah, that's more like it. And then probably another go with the blue. Hopefully this will not have dried too much yet. What I'm trying to achieve is a slightly metallic-y effect. And now, because I don't want to use the Mod Podge, because I don't want to move any of this, again, hit it with the hairspray. Oh look, getting some nice green coming through now where it's got wet. And it's mixing. Hopefully it will dry to show those colours. If hairspray leaves something too sticky or too shiny, take some baby powder and rub it over. And while it will dull the colour a little bit, not much, because you can keep rubbing at it, it will take all the stickiness off. And that works on glues, Mod Podge, anything. A mistake when you're gluing something into a journal, and you'll have to trust me on this one, but it's no longer sticky to touch. And actually where you've got these squares, it's kind of gone into those grooves and highlighted those a bit, which I think is quite a nice effect. The next job with these is to punch out lots and lots and lots and lots of little circles. That's what I'm going to be doing for a bit. I have my little circles, and I also have been tearing up the strips because I think those could be handy or interesting, if not now, in the future. If we were to put down a Sherlock Holmes picture, and I don't think I'm going to do any matting and layering because the background is interesting enough. I don't think we need to keep adding and adding and adding. I will centrally locate that. The other thing I was consider doing is using these tiny little bronze bits to create rivets where these lines are. And if that doesn't work, because they might be too big, then we might use them to outline round the picture. I think what I will do then is run some glue along the edge of the picture, and then get one of these and stick it half and half. I ended up doing a few off camera. These are for the Sherlock Holmes journal. I've put some faux stitching in white around these patchworky areas from the Masterboard, and added some basic pictures of Sherlock Holmes, some of the scraps, and backed it in coffee stained paper. This one, you can see that long line of metallic. I don't think it's shine. Oh, can you catch that shine? It does shine. You can see all this background detail. Now, I know it looks lost, but this is what adds interest. It may seem a long process for something that doesn't really show, but you know it's there, and you know the detail that went into it. I'm not overly keen on this one, which is why I didn't repeat it. I like the idea, I just didn't think it worked in the end. The cutaways I liked more, strangely. This time I did the stitching in black. Can compare it to the white one. I think I prefer the black because I think it shows more. And I'm one of those people who likes things to show. And then here we've just got a stamp and a picture. And here a bit more collaging, so a few more pieces. If you have enjoyed this video, please do all you can to support this channel by liking, subscribing and commenting. It's free. It doesn't involve getting pestered by emails. It just means that you sometimes hear when a new video goes up. You could also share this video and let other friends who are interested in art and craft enjoy the channel too. All of this helps YouTube push the algorithm out to more people and brings new people to the channel. I will see you next time.